David and Tom for working on these bouquets with me. We all worked together building these things, and I hope you enjoy them. And there are a lot of different concepts and color palettes and different things, so we'll start with that. We have lovely bottles which are adding to our ambiance here, but this is what I believe that David made, which really adds a lot of movement and depth to this bouquet. The thing that really jumps out to me is the Mindolino cake, which is really awesome. It just adds a lot of movement, a lot of depth and size to this bouquet that you normally wouldn't necessarily have if you didn't put the Mindolino in there. Along with the lily grass, it really makes a really nice presentation. The roses are garden roses, and I think they're probably maybe white O'Hara's.
That's correct.
Okay.
What are they?
Pardon? White O'Hara's is the name of this bouquet. Is made with green Fujis, which are something that we didn't have, I mean, too long ago, and so the Mindolino is there as well. But look at that combination of green and blue. That is a really hot color combo right now. Think of like the water, the ocean, the sea, that sort of thing. Really hot color combo. We're going to be seeing a lot more of that. And the blue, you know, coupled with the green is awesome. The green Fujis are relatively new. But look at this, what looks like a button pump. What it is a disc-butted type of button pump, and they're bigger, and it's called Fantasy? No.
Feeling.
Feeling. I knew it started with an F. But it's a really large sort of button pump that is really rigid and hard. And look at the color. I mean, it's just really, really awesome. It's brand new. I have not seen that before. And it's something you've gotten in before?
Well, actually, to be honest, 3 weeks ago I was looking for green Fujis.
Yeah.
And I saw that on the website, and I bought it thinking it was a green Fuji mom. And it came in like that. People liked it.
Yeah. It's awesome. Really, really cool thing.
Yeah, it's very good.
And look how it changes up the texture. You've got this Fuji, which commands attention. You can't put a lot of Fujis with other things. You can, but it's just confusing to your eye. And so you're focusing on those Fujis, and then it's adding that little bit of texture down in the base. And David is really good at putting depth in the bouquet, so you're really kind of getting down in there and looking at things. So really, really great job. And the feathers. Feathers have been in vogue for a little while, and I think we're going to continue to see them for a while. We also have great artificial feathers, which are really, really cool. So a lot of choices there. This bouquet is another really great garden rose called Creme de la Creme. Look at the color, isn't it awesome? This bouquet would be perfect for a flower girl, but this is also something that would be super for a mother's clutch bouquet. And if you are not selling mother's clutch bouquets, you need to kind of get on that bandwagon, because that's a new thing. It's a relatively new thing for me over the last few years. I sell tons of those. I suggest them because, again, the mothers are not going to say, I want a clutch bouquet. But you know what is great? You tell them that they can put it down at their place setting at the wedding reception, and then they're good to go. They love it. And so what it is, excuse me, let me borrow this real quick. It's 3 roses that are hand-tied together. You could use it in a small holder as well, which is perfect, because then it's going to hold up perfectly fine without putting it in water. But a little bit of foliage, and this is, and I just pulled it out, I moved this in. This is artificial foliage I found in the back room. So if it falls out, you know why. I'll put it back in there. But a little bit of Israeli ruscus bound just like any other bouquet with a little bit of beads. There you go. Thank you. So this is a hand-tied bouquet. Again, garden roses with the stalk and the peonies, which are really in season now. And it's bound at the bottom, pretty much similar to the things that I showed you earlier. Except I didn't use wire. I used a little bit of pins. I used the bind-it tape and just hand-tied it with a little bit of foliage. And it's just really gardening and fun and just really traditional, great color palette. Pink and white is going to be around forever. So that is a hand-tied bouquet. We didn't do too many hand-ties, but that's one. So hand-tied. But you could actually put it in a wedding bell holder, and you couldn't tell the difference. So but you have the added ability to keep the water source. So you know what? One thing about hand-ties that bothers me. I worry about at receptions when the stems aren't recut. The wedding's earlier in the day and they're laying out all day, and so even if they're putting them in water, they kind of need recut. So you know that's why the holder I think is really good. This is an upscale version of our mother's clutch, using a loamy collar. formed into this really cool shape. And I believe Kim made this. She has this rose in a water tube, and we just she took the collar and spread it out to form this really nice collar shape around a single rose, a little bit of ribbon, and a few stephanotis tucked down in there. But really fun, and this would make a really nice display at the table as well. And then she also made a ring, and if you want to turn your finger around as well, you can see it's around 2 fingers, just a few flowers on there, just really fun, and a nice alternative to a corsage. Could be great for a mother of the bride. Well, what we did, I took a bucket, cooler bucket, and I made this circular form out of diamond wire, and put 4 little connecting points right here, and then ran it into the bouquet holder, and then built the bouquet right over the top. So really quick and easy, and it just is, again, a really great way to display something. This is made the exact way that I showed you with the salal leaves on the back, and we can go and turn it around and see how the salal leaves are. I glued them to the back of the holder, and again, I would definitely cover the handle if I'm sending it out, but I was able to build that big bouquet in a relatively small holder. I used floral for added security, but it was really strong. The Mindolino is awesome. Again, it adds a lot of depth and dimension. These are nothing more than hyperica berries that I just strung on the Mindolino. Inexpensive cost to do that, and it just adds a lot of perceived value, which is really important. You can get more money for this. And again, that creme de la creme roses, and that are also garden roses. So this is I believe it's a hint. Isn't that great? You can't even tell. This is a hand tie. I believe that that was probably Kim. The Cymbidium orchids are really hot. They're going to continue to be hot. We have all those great colors of bronzes and so forth. And so I think that they're a great addition because they hold up really well in bridal work. You can either put them in water tubes or a little bit of cotton with them, or you can glue them right in and they hold really well in the bouquet. We have the peonies and these Moon series carnations, which are actually have been sort of genetically engineered. They're spliced petunia chromosomes to give us that really intense purple color, which is really cool and patented. We're seeing those quite a bit. So really fun combination of the greens and the purples and whites and with the hydrangea and so forth. And that one has a little bit of tie off on it, so you can see how we would potentially have cleaned up that stem. Thank you very much. This is a little bit of a different shape to it. What it is again a loamy collar that is a circular collar of wire that you could buy pre-made, and you can do anything to it. For funeral work, you can make crosses or hearts or inside caskets. It just has so many applications. Whatever you want to do with it is just limitless uses. So I made a circle, sort of a donut shape, that's flat like this. And I ran some wire through the bouquet holder, and then I also used other type of wire to continue that line. Anything that you can repeat makes the design so much stronger. And so I added other types of wire to the outside, a little bit of mimosa, and then I clustered the flowers at the top. So it's sort of a hat box shape, a little bit different, rather than our traditional round shape, but it looks gardeny as well with the garden roses and peonies and so forth in the top.
What's the green?
This is mimosa. This is hydrangea foliage. And
the flowers.
Oh, this is hydrangea, green hydrangea.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the green hydrangea are really they're immature, flowers, and that's what makes them really so intensely green, and they are just really awesome. I left the foliage on the hydrangea because I believe that leaving a little bit of foliage on the hydrangea helps the water come up. I really think that's important. For me, I'm not 100% sure that tends to work, so I left a little bit of foliage on it. So, a lot of visual impact there. I mean, we've got a radial arrangement coming out of a small point that is really comfortable to carry. But look at the visual statement that we're getting out of that with the dendrobium orchids and the roses. And again, the depth and dimension of this is really awesome. Because you just want to get down in there and look to see what's kind of going on there, That little bit of wire adds some bling, and it's all the way around. It has a great radial effect when somebody's walking down an aisle. So I believe that, again, is a dating. We have The diamante pins inside of the monks, which add a little bit of a real subtle bling, but look how it's mimicking the ribbon. We've got this ribbon, it's a reciprocal of this ribbon. We've got blue ribbon with white dots, and then we have white dots with little blue dots in the center. So it's really fun and whimsical to have that. The hydrangea, again, if you're worried about something that has a big head, you can put a wooden pick on a hydrangea and push it in there, and then you're going to have that added security. So that's what I certainly would do, is add a little bit of a wooden pick. So thank you very much. What David did with the callus, how he took the callus stems off and he just added them to the wire, which, I mean, it's limitless from what we can do with these callus. Callus hold up pretty well. The longer the stem that you've got on a calla lily, the longer you're going to have it last, because that's a water source. But for something like a wedding or an event, sorry about that. Is my mic maybe the volume? Can you hear me in the back? So, the visual effect again with something like this, because we've got this wire, we're artificially able to produce such a really cool dynamic shape to this arrangement by using this wire, where we would normally have fresh product that we had to do this with. So it's something very different and unique. And the other insertions are right into the foam, but he also added a little bit of wire, some beads around the wire, which just changed the texture a little bit. The hydrangeas kind of based in there, and a lot of stuff going on. Garden roses are a huge thing now. I mean, we're seeing more and more of them. And they generally run more than regular roses because they're really special. They've got much larger heads. I think they're much harder to grow. But the cool thing is they have this fragrance factor, which has really been kind of taken out of a lot of our roses. So you can't hear in the back. I don't know whether, okay, so the garden roses are really, they're a brand new thing over the past 4 or 5 years that they've really come back into our design work. They're reminiscent of things that people would take out of their garden, and so the brides want them. They see them in books. They are asking for these type of roses, and we have a lot of varieties that are coming out. And if you look in the cooler, you'll see a lot of really cool varieties. So that's what we have here. You have to stage them. You can't get them in, and you can't expect to use them right away. They need to open a little bit to get to their prime, because all these flowers, I mean, that's what makes us knowledgeable as florists, really, is we have to get these things in their prime. We have to get freesia open, and then it has to go back in the cooler. We have to get the roses in their prime for event work and wedding work. It's really important. You can't just put it right into things and expect it to look really good. So as professionals, that's what we really do, and this is no exception. You need to get the roses a little bit open so they look like a garden rose and not just a big closed rose. So there you go. He has a little bit of bling. You're welcome. It looks fabulous. He's adding a lot of depth to this bouquet with gerbs, and the gerbs automatically sort of take it into a little bit of a relaxed place. When you're doing a really formal wedding, sometimes gerbs are not necessarily the best choice because they're a little bit informal, and a lot of the brides want to be a little more informal with their rose. So that's kind of what the mini gerbs are doing here. You can. I wouldn't wire things like gerbs. So many of us would think maybe we need to wire a gerb, but if it's really inserted well into the holder and the gerbs are hydrated really well, it's really not necessary. But you could certainly do whimsical wires like aluminum that would support it, but in a bouquet like that, it wouldn't work, obviously. So those have really small stems. You're going to start to see something that we have mixed artificial or permanent botanicals with fresh material, and this is an example. We might not necessarily be able to find something like this. One thing that we're able to do is go to the supply department in this silk area and find really cool things that are available all the time if you can't necessarily find it. And maybe if this was a piece of succulent, some of these might easily break off. I mean, we're using big succulents and a lot of work, but this might not be something that we could easily use. So this is an artificial piece. And I try, if at all possible, when I'm doing consultations with the bride, not to let her get as specific as possible. Now, sometimes she will want to be specific, and you can't really object to that, because sometimes people really know what they want. But if it's like this exact shade of pink and it's it really becomes a nightmare for all of us, for the wholesale aspect, for us as retailers. And so to make it as vague as possible is wonderful. Usually doesn't work that way, but you need a little bit of leeway there, and talk to the bride and say, hey, if I can't get this shade of pink, This contrasting color pink would be really good, or maybe we could switch to green and pink, but get them to be able to work with you a little bit, and it makes our lives so much easier. And things like this, nobody's going to know that this is an artificial piece. You just don't know, but it is. So everything else in here, for the most part, is real. Maybe a little bit of this over here. There's some mediums for our wooden picks as well. A little bit of oleum, yeah, that's something like that.